Well, this house sitting gig came at just the right moment because I'm flat broke and waiting for a bank transfer. But it's great to be in a kitchen again, in an apartment, back at little brother Vinny's house. And I'm cooking some chicken because I went out to get some food and it was really expensive again and just not what I wanted. So again, it's very important to make sure you thoroughly clean off the chicken. Raw poultry, any kind of raw poultry needs to be cleaned off thoroughly. That has already been. And you constantly are washing your hands while you're working with this as well. I've already pre-cut up my garlic, because we start everything with garlic and onions, and we're doing some mushies. I was given a couple of these in the hostel in Antwerp about a week and a half ago, and they've just been in my backpack, so I'm going to try that tonight. I don't really know, have no clue really how to use this oven microwave. I hope it's a combination oven microwave because I just saw a tutorial on YouTube. Hey, and I'm going to wing it and see if I can figure it out. I love the shopping here because it's the same in the States and other places, but you got this coleslaw here, and this is just a bag of all this great veggies and herbs and stuff. Not herbs so much, but like green onions and carrots and whatnot. So for about $45, I got enough food for, let me just show you what else I got. Enough food for at least 5 days of eating. I'm gonna wash my hand again because I've been touching that chicken. But I've got that made up for this morning, my breakfast, which was at about 1 o'clock this afternoon. So for $45, I got a couple of hamburger patties. I've got the chicken, I've got a bag of spinach down there, all those mushrooms, the blueberry, the apple. This stuff was already here. And a block of Gouda. Oh, and they have balsamic here, really good balsamic, but I've just been craving some kind of Americana, and that's really good ranch. Did some hard-boiled eggs for the salads and just for being on the run, and there's 5 more eggs in there. Anyway, sometimes you're just winging it. So I've got the chicken here with some garlic and onions. I've got the rice I'm just heating up because it said 3 milliliters of water. I have no idea how much 3 milliliters of water is. I think it just needs to warm up. It's already been pre-cooked. So I'm gonna turn that one off because that looks like it's done. I've got some cabbage in the back with some mushies. I should have moved that to the front with the hotter heat. But I've got some garlic and onions as well in there. Got these mushies gonna be browning up. Flipping these now that the first side of these chickens are done. I'm gonna do a flip. Move that to the middle, a nice big fat piece. So we have some caramelized garlic, and we have some caramelized onions, and then we have some more al dente or crudo onions and garlic, just to give it all a different flavor. I probably should have waited to pour these other spices in. I'm smelling a lot of that. It's smelling very Vietnamese, actually. All these vegetables. So maybe that's what it says in Dutch. It's a Vietnamese packet. Anyway, let me put this damn thing down and get back to work. So we're finishing up on the sauteed pan here with the mushies and then the mixes from ground pepper. Maybe I should have put some tomatoes in there. The rice came out very fluffy and nice. I'm loving it. I'm gonna turn this heat off, I think, in just a minute. So I have some mushrooms here that are more steamed from the heat of the chicken grilling here, and then I have more that are sauteed over there. So you got different flavors, different textures of the same vegetable, or fungus, actually. Fungus among us. One key addendum here. It was great to have 2 cutting boards. A cutting board just for the poultry, which is highly toxic, and then one cutting board for all the other stuff that's not, can't cross contaminate. So, and also for veggies, if you have vegetarians, that whole pan and this whole pan is all vegetarian, and then you're mixing the chicken on your own. I wanted to try their sauce. I don't know what this is. I don't read. Oh, this is like a curry. I might add some of this into one batch, maybe tomorrow night, because they got a whole jar of it and they're away for, yeah. And so the chicken does not, what we do is we cover the pan with the chicken. If this was steak, a steak you wouldn't be doing this, but chicken, so it stays moist inside, it doesn't dry it out. So if this was fish, poultry or fish, I cover it so that it'll be like a convection boiler steamer. It'll keep it moist in there and not dry the inside of these chunks of chicken out. You do that especially if you have that thick ass fillet like that. If you have a thicker one, you want to put the lid on a lot sooner. And before I eat, I like to clean up as much as possible. I'm not gonna let this knife dry in that rack. I dry knives immediately, but everything else you wanna clean. This has got chicken goo on it. So I'm gonna clean all this, wash my hands thoroughly, and then sit down and eat. So to avoid maggots or other flying stuff, the chicken crap is on this or something like this. I put it in my used up bag, and I'm gonna wrap that up really tightly and then put it in the trash can or take it right out of the house immediately. If you're cooking fish or chicken, I tend to get rid of the stuff immediately. That's where the chicken came in. That'll go out with this. If you put it in there, 3 days later, you'll have maggots, you'll have flies, you'll have a bunch of other wonderful vermin that you don't really want. You all know that, those of you who cooked any days in your lives. Days of Our Lives. Great soap opera. What's Marlena doing these days? This stuff tastes fantastic. So I'm going to add some of this to one batch of this tonight. So in order not to ruin the dish, I wasn't sure how much that curry paste would stand out. I didn't put too much water in, but I put about a tablespoon of it in. The flavor of this rice alone with the chicken is really, really good. But with the curry mixed with that rice, it's really, really amazing. It's a strange flavor. It's not your normal curry, nor is it your normal whatever flavor that rice was. It's a great kind of combination of fusion. I have a bunch of leftover. There's a bunch of chicken under that with all the greens and the sauteed mushrooms. I've got more here if I'm still hungry after all of this. So I'm gonna bid you bonjour or bon appetit, and I'm gonna grind. Oh, there's the name of it right there. Ries mit Gruden Tingen Hagen Tungen Time and in French that's rice with vegetables. When you clean up as you go, this is all the mess you have left. 4 pots, non-stick, real easy to clean, and this. So when you have your deadbeat roommates saying, oh, I left the pot to soak because they burned the fuck out of it because they walked away from the oven and let the shit burn to the ground, you tell them, hey, you're not letting that shit soak for 15 minutes. If it soaks for 15 minutes, my foot is gonna be soaking in your fucking ass for the next 5 seconds. You gotta do it with that attitude too, because if you're black, that works really well. If you're not black, then don't try that. But yeah, anyway. Clean up 45 seconds to a minute and a half.